Behind the Counter is sponsored by
Hover.com. Domain names made simple. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ.
Hello and welcome once again to another awesome episode of Behind the Counter. I am your host, Rich Stambolian. We are here with you live. Look into my eyes as I tell you that. Behind the Counter tonight, 6:30 p.m., GFQ Network. And with me as always, a man who runs Bartertown, the Master Blaster.
I am the Master Blaster.
Mean John Adler.
That's like a spoiler to the end. That was actually going to be my thing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Who runs Bartertown?
Master Blaster.
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
So what's up?
You know, what's up with you?
Nothing. That's why I always ask you, because I don't have anything.
No, but I feel like you ask me, and you know what's going on, but you don't let me inside.
I don't know. Nothing,
you don't let me inside.
Oh man, I'm happy to be here. Good to be here.
It's good to be alive.
Good to be alive.
Good to be alive.
From what I hear, both our respective offices, because we don't work together, let us take the afternoon off for the most part.
Yes. Got to see some friends. Got to enjoy ourselves. Enjoy the fresh air.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
It was a nice change of pace.
It was a beautiful afternoon, I gotta tell you.
It was. It was a beautiful day.
Sorry, everybody who doesn't live in the greater Queens, Great Neck, Bayside,
Too
Flushing
bad.
area. It was gorgeous out. Just in those
areas. Everywhere else, it was just terrible.
Sadness, rain, disasters, apocalypse, apocalyptic visions.
All the horsemen.
We got.
No, stop it.
It's happening.
Stop it.
Can I do?
Yeah,
it's
you do that.
8. So we're here with you again this week, as we were here with you last week, and we will be every week until the Mayan apocalypse. That's supposed to happen soon, right?
After that,
that's in a couple of weeks, dude.
Yeah, we'll still be here. We'll still be broadcasting.
I hope it doesn't happen. We'll be broadcasting from the ashes of the Mayan apocalypse.
That's the thing I'm least afraid of happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Like as conspiracy wise.
Yeah, I don't have a care in the world about the Mayan apocalypse. I think also because they made a really terrible movie about that.
Which was
2012.
I didn't see it.
John.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Sorry.
Pretty bad movie.
Sorry, dude. I don't watch movies about the future.
Oh, sorry.
I watch movies about ambiguous past.
Totally lies. Most of the movies that you watch are in the future.
Or
the extreme past.
Yeah, exactly. No time like the present. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a huge Marvel discussion today. Because the Marvel books this week have been tremendous. I know we always go back and forth about the big two. The DC book this week were okay, but there's so many good Marvel stuff, especially leading into the Avengers movie next week, with a ton of Avengers X-Men crossovers this week, which were all really top notch.
So surprising.
I'm also, and they're only issue 2 into the miniseries.
Going to 3 next week.
Going to 3 next week. Also, love it way more at this point than Fear itself.
Start off.
I love Fear itself, but the tie-ins I could have done without.
Yeah.
The tie-ins on this one so far,
necessary.
Pretty excellent, very necessary, and this is what the 15-year-olds in us want.
Yeah.
The battles.
Yeah,
you know?
it really is. It's
the battles.
And it works. And it works really, really well in the storytelling.
Yeah.
DC sucked this week, dude.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, no, we were talking about that before. About Aquaman was a little
Yeah, it's I think it's also like you said, it's really you're dead center in the hype of Avengers VS X-Men, and you're seeing kind of what they're doing with the entire universe and how this is going to kind of work in the terms of each book. Obviously this is like the Avengers versus the X-Men. This is built on the ideas of you kind of have like these dream matches that you want to see that you haven't seen in a really long time if they did fight at one point. But just seeing stuff like, Namor versus like Thing and, Magneto versus Iron Man and, Cyclops getting knocked out is amazing.
Psycho was getting knocked out. Is awesome. We've been talking about that for 3 weeks. But the really cool thing that you kind of just touched on was the fact that you see these big superhero battles, and you get a panel or two.
Yeah.
And you obviously comic books, you leave a lot to the imagination, but sometimes I want to be fed a little bit, and I think in the Avengers X-Men versus book this week by the two Emonans and Jason Aaron and one of the Kubert brothers.
This could have been a total throwaway book.
Yeah, it could have been a total throwaway, and you get what is it, you get the 3 battles or 2 battles?
2 battles in each one.
3. You get 3 in this one.
Really? Which was?
I'm sorry. No. I'm wrong.
This was no, because you're thinking of about the Uncanny thing.
Yes. You get Magneto versus Iron Man.
Yep.
In this book, and you also get the awesome thing, Namor thing, and you're getting little color commentary in captions as they're fighting, and it's some really cool stuff. You don't really see. Because of fandom, the way fandom is, you need a book containing the battles, and they nailed it because they've done that before with other miniseries. Like when I forgot the name of the miniseries. A couple of years ago, it came out. It was when everybody got gamma irradiated.
Oh,
and you had Gamma Wolverine versus Gamma whatever.
Wasn't it World War Hulks?
I think it was World War Hulks, and then you had A-Bomb versus Gamma Wolverine, Gamma Thor versus this, and those were just you waste your money on those books because
it's action figure, garbage.
Yeah, which they never made action figures from, at least to my knowledge.
I don't think they did.
They didn't, right?
I think that's the closest we have is the Spider Hulk.
I thought you were pointing at Andrew.
Andrew's the combination.
He is gamma radiated. You are
yeah.
very gamma radiated. I'm still convinced that you hit the gym this week, but that's just me.
Big.
That's big. It's jacked up, man.
Avengers vs. X, but this book, this versus book, it focuses on those battles. So when you read Avengers vs. X-Men, you'll see those 2 panels of just Iron Man and Magneto locking up, and then you have the expansion of that in a book like this. So you got to see the little nuances of the battle, and also you get some really cool narration that keeps on bouncing back between the 2 characters during the battle, which is really awesome.
The narration and like I said before, the play-by-play commentary on what's going on in the battle, and they had the fun facts of whatever,
yes,
how and also for everybody watching out there, what we're gonna do this week is we have so much cool Marvel stuff to talk about that we're just gonna kind of go in depth about the crossover books this week, and a couple of little goodies for you, and some cool stuff that actually blew us away. So we're talking about the first book on the docket, which is Avengers vs. X-Men versus #1. It's a limited series, #1 out of 6. So you get Iron Man facing off Magneto, and then there's that little caption saying fun fact, Tony Stark doesn't use metal armor.
Yeah, he had carbon tubed armor.
Nanocarbonite, carbon whatever.
Carbon.
And he's facing the master of magnetism, who arguably can squish a guy in a suit of armor.
Arguably.
And
it turned out to be an amazing battle.
Yep.
You get and those fun facts really are cool because they have the what was that one bit where she's each Utopia tower weighs 170 tons, and then the next narration is Iron Man being hit with that, and he's like, oh man, I don't know how to recover after getting hit with 200 tons, and he goes, fun fact, Tony Stark likes to exaggerate. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. The really awesome thing, and I didn't ask you if you felt this way, but for me, it's you have like I mentioned before, you have this kind of neat thing that the kid in you, the kid comic book fan, wants to see. You're you're sitting at the lunchroom, and you're like, yo man, Captain America versus Iron Man, what's gonna go down? What happened, this and this. But the adult in us, the post 30-year-old. Appreciates the fact that it's actually extremely well written. Yeah. So you can kind of get into it. The glee factor is definitely there, kind of reading this stuff.
Well, what's funny is a lot of time with a book especially with a book like this, because crossovers are always very sticky, and it's tough because you're pushing, if let's say you're a regular series author, say Pierre David, who handles them very, very well. You're doing your regular storyline, then all of a sudden you have to adapt to whatever this crossover thing is. This type of book, the versus book, usually will be completely for the super fan who wants to just see that extra little nugget. This actually feels substantial because it's being handled by the true creative team. So it actually is an addition to it. So usually Marvel pitch and say like this, oh, if you really want to see the full story, this is like the way you can go about it.
Yeah.
You really are getting more with this because you get like little bits where you get number one, you get a concise winner. You get like
Right.
you get like a winner of the battle. So like in the Magneto Iron Man thing, Iron Man walks away with the win, but at the last moments he says like find my daughter. You're gonna need to find my daughter.
Yeah.
So you get like powerful plot elements, and beautiful, absolute gorgeous art in this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the art is phenomenal, man.
Roland kills it.
It's really big time on this book specifically. And then after the Iron Man thing, Iron Man he's putting a feather in his cap. I just meet Magneto in a suit of armor, blah blah blah. And then you have the Thing versus Namor fight, which is just like so out of this world, man. Because they brought, and we've talked about this on the show numerous times about how we both are just like so blown away by how Namor has been handled in the past couple of years.
Yeah,
where they gave him like a really awesome voice where he knows he's a cocky prick.
Yeah,
and and he also does like these snide one-liners that are hysterical. Like
really
and I know about this.
He's so good. He's so good, and like you get thought bubbles in this. And the fact that it's a great element. Exactly what you're talking about. Hit the cockiness. Namor was a lot of the fight takes place underwater.
Yeah.
Things holding his breath, and Namor's the only one who's allowed to was able to speak.
Yeah.
So it's like he can't even hear what I'm saying. But it's just like Thing throws a friggin' treasure chest at him. And it's like. And honestly, Amonin draws one of my absolute favorite versions of the Thing.
Oh, yeah.
He draws such an awesome, like, he's big. Mm-hmm. He has that really, like, monstrous look to him.
Not bogged down by too much detail either.
Exactly. Yeah. He who is, when Mark Waid was writing, Warango draws like that, like, picture perfect Thing. Like, that's, like, by the book, Thing. This is like really close to that. Plus, I'm such a huge fan of the white costume. Yeah,
it's I like the white Fantastic Four costume on whoever they gave it to. I like the overalls, man. Like
I do. I always like the Thing overalls because the very first Thing stuff I read was him on Warworld.
Okay.
On Battleworld.
Yeah.
So he was wearing the black leotard.
Right.
So and after that, when he came back, he wore the blue, the blue shorts. But I like long pants leotard like he does now, with the blue. I'm big on my Thing dressings.
I'm with that. It's very you're the Thing fashionista.
My least favorite is the helmet.
That was the worst, man.
We always forget about that.
Where he got scarred by Wolverine. Yeah, that was awful.
So dumb.
It was the that was like such a weird point in time for Fantastic Four because you had like just I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on. And I think
that's what they were rotating. They really had no. I don't know if they had a game plan or like an end game in sight.
No end game. I think that was also when Sue Storm had like a leather jacket and like a tiara.
She was possessed by Malice, and she had the Fantastic Four symbol with the 4 cut out so you could see cleavage.
Okay. Yeah.
And like Giant Storm went white hot. They were doing the whole thing with his Skrull girlfriend, Laya, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The one that from Secret Wars or whatever. Nice.
So classy.
Fantastic Four's been through a rough point, so it's good to see a great FF now, and especially interacting like the fact that you get Thing, put in this as an Avenger.
Yes,
fighting Namor, who is an X-Men at this point, which is like it's come a long way.
Well, what book was it that they went into the fact of like kind of like into his psyche where he was like, I will side with Cyclops.
This one.
It was this one.
Yeah, right? It's his it's Namor's narration explaining why he sided with Cyclops because basically he's always been at war with the humans and he's the mutants embraced him for the most part and this is his people.
Right.
And they helped Atlantis as well. It's a great. They've done a great job of really fleshing him. A character who really no one knew how to kind of work out. But this book was such a great testament to how well you can put together a crossover. And all these other books we're going to talk about are great examples of that as well.
Absolutely. That Namor thing actually happened in the Uncanny X-Men.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
It starts out with him.
That's right. He was talking.
Because like all this stuff in the past like couple of months has taken place on the beach of Utopia.
Yeah.
Which is where Cyclops has like his X-Men stronghold, and they're pretty much a sovereign nation at this point. So you have Uncanny X-Men number 11, and it's an awesome cover of Red Hulk versus Colossus Juggernaut. You have Kieran Gillen, Greg Land, like handling it for the most part. And say what you want about Greg Land's art.
He's good, man.
He's good. A lot of stuff has been coming out, lately about like a lot of like sexploitation, like the way he draws women and stuff like that.
And the tracing.
But you know what? Like, it looks great.
It does look great.
Sorry, dude.
It does look great, especially for this type of book, where it's
Yeah.
very much like a bunch of beautiful people standing around and like posing it up and everything.
The X-Men are, for a group of people
I just
who-
realized that Dr. Nemesis is Ed Harris.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so weird.
For a group of people who have been hunted and persecuted their entire lives,
They look beautiful.
extremely good-looking folks.
So good looking. That's why I think First Class did it right, because everyone looked like they came out like Vidal Sassoon.
Oh yeah,
They're just like beautiful human beings. That's the blessing of being like hunted persecuted.
I kind of want gross. You know who delivered on the gross? Frank Whiteley
Oh yeah.
and Chris Bacala when he did Generation Next.
Well, testament also to Wolverine and X-Men. He's got all the gross kids over there.
That's true.
You get Globhorn, Toad, Skin,
Brew.
Yeah, you know, like you get Brew. You get, and they all are like the grosser, the pretty guys are definitely living in California and Utopia.
That's a good point. That is a good point. You think they're gonna address that at one point? Where,
Oh hell yeah!
Where Magneto's gonna be like, listen, you're like
The grossest.
basically telling Cyclops that he's becoming Hitler, and saying that he's getting like the good-looking X-Men together as opposed to Wolverine and his band of gross.
I do not think he's gonna walk away from this.
Cyclops. We talk about this all the time, man. Like, you really think Cyclops is gonna bite it?
Yep.
I don't, man.
I do not think Jean Grey's coming back, and I think he's gonna bite it. I think that we may get a Magneto school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
which
we're
would be
gonna
incredible, especially with
Yeah.
the fact that they've got all the evil dudes like on that Uncanny
Yeah.
team. That'd be awesome.
Do you think they're gonna bring back the pink Magneto outfit with a big M on it?
That'd be great. I love that
I
outfit.
hate that outfit. I always hated that outfit.
I do like the rivets though. I'm a big fan of his regular costume.
Because he kind of looks like a purple deep sea diver.
He needs to have the helmet at all times.
Yeah.
I'd never want to see him without the helmet.
See, I liked the in the later run of Uncanny X-Men when Jim Lee got popularity and he was just walking around Asteroid M without the helmet.
Yeah,
And,
that stuff is cool.
And like pontificating.
Yeah,
basically
that stuff is
you know.
cool. But I like if he's in battle, I want to see the helmet. I want to see like the full like Magneto, regalia.
Yeah.
But back to Uncanny,
Mhm.
they're also greatly utilizing my favorite character, Unit, the robot,
Yes.
who has taken over Danger as his like self-serving slave,
And also kind of like
and drawing Hope older and older.
exactly. like Hope started out as a baby, maybe 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and through I guess her
time travel.
Her age almost got established. I think at one point as 14, and then maybe 15 or 16, and
Yeah.
now like
She's 17 years old.
She's like drawn as like a hot lady.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's Jean Grey. She's like Greg Land takes no liberties at all of disguising the fact that he's drawing Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But it's a gorgeous looking book. A lot of this is establishing this, the face off between the Avengers and X-Men that you've seen at the beach. That we've talked about a great deal. But also you get some really cool stuff with Red Hulk fighting Juggernaut Colossus.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the water. Everyone falling under the water, huh?
Yeah.
But we were saying today how much we've come to like Red Hulk. They've done a great job of I don't think he's recognizable as Thunderbolt Ross anymore at all. But he really is a unique character that they've done a great job of giving him development, especially through the Avengers.
They've taken the Jeff Loeb words on paper, kind of just like no characterization kind of Red Hulk. Which was good for what it was worth, like just him being like a dick and beating people up, and really they really fleshed him out a bit to make him kind of like this cocky, like, hey, I know I'm a Hulk, but I'm also a supreme military mind.
Yeah,
Well,
I've been in the military all of my life.
Mm-hmm. And you have this awesome fight between him and Colossus, and they're going at it, and then all of a sudden Colossus just morphs into Sidorak.
Yeah,
pretty much, because he has Juggernaut's powers, and he turns into like this demon monster underwater, and they're fighting, they're going at it, and then at one point, the Red Hulk, being of a strategic mind, points to the support beam behind him, which is supporting Utopia. And Colossus, it snaps Colossus out of his rage, rips off the helmet, and he's pretty much telling the Hulk to just
beat him down,
beat the crap out of him, and it's a weird masochistic thing because they have that caption of Sidorak will be pleased as long as there's blood is spilled, and it doesn't matter whose blood it is.
Sidorak doesn't care who bleeds on his altar. It's a good line.
Yeah, so like it's a really interesting thing that's happening to Colossus because
really becoming a different character.
But it's also a perfect fit because he was also always the tortured artist who felt like, he had the weight of the world on his shoulders and never felt he was good enough for anybody.
Yep. And now he's also messed up because of his sister, too.
Yeah.
That, like, they're both kind of, like, doing this weird, like, self-serving, we're both messed up, we're both dangerous type of thing. He spends all his time in a jail now.
Yep.
And he really doesn't have any control when he turns into the Juggernaut. I think he's probably losing the control as well when he's normal. What was his line about the whole thing with why he stays armored up? He said something to the degree like,
I think because his flesh can't handle.
Yeah,
something.
Like it can't. He can't handle like the rage. Like it actually gives him some control that he would normally not have. But I've loved this Juggernaut Colossus thing. Like I think it's a great development for him. Because you've kind of gotten the same Colossus thing over and over and over again.
Also, didn't see it coming.
Never saw it coming. No way. It was really a big surprise, especially because you're in the middle of like Juggernaut just getting kind of a lot of attention between Thunderbolts and Fear itself. But I think it's a great thing for him. The man, the monster storylines are always good.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, it just really works for him, and visually, it's stunning. I think it's such a great look for the character.
It is, and like if you're, I feel like that's also a hook. If you were, we know dudes who were into comics back in the day and just like kind of like fell off. And if you say like a simple thing like, "Hey, by the way, Colossus is Juggernaut right now," that I feel like that would make certain fans, at least our age, want to go out and buy. Like want to go out and be like, I gotta read some more X-Men right now. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you know what? And you know what? I want that action figure. I want my. I want a Colossus. I want a Colossus Juggernaut action figure.
One episode we should just do action figure reviews.
I'll do it, dude.
And silently play with them on air.
Yeah. Also, with this, which is a big moment, the way the book ends is Cyclops actually activates something called the Avengers Protocol, which basically just tells their PR agent to send out this like thing out,
a letter to humanity,
which is basically saying, listen, we're a sovereign nation here. The government has sent superheroes, by a truckload to our home to take a teenager, a minor,
exactly,
out of our home. So trying to label them as the bad guys,
like saying like this is outright kidnapping.
Yeah, this is outright. It's not for and it's not even they work for the government, but they're not saying the government's not saying like go get the Phoenix or whatever.
Yep.
There's no real proof. So this is I think there's gonna be a lot of fallout on this thing. I just don't know how yet. Because next issue you also have the confrontation between, which you see a little bit in this week, of Wolverine and Captain America, which is gonna be awesome.
That is gonna be awesome. I feel like more on the Cyclops thing. Like he's playing the race card.
Oh, totally.
He's completely playing the race card, saying, and which is kind of interesting for like a character like Cyclops to say like, it's like I feel like it's almost an easy way out, but it's a weird kind of strategy that he has. Saying like there's one part in the letter where he goes, they will also attempt to justify this with a kidnapping. They're also attempt to justify this by saying this girl is dangerous, by which they mean she's a mutant. And it wraps up with him saying like, look, we can literally destroy the planet, but we won't for now. So it's a little Magneto never sent a memo.
No, Magneto would send Sentinels or something, or
missiles,
like dead body or missiles
out of the water. Always missiles out of the water.
Always missiles out of the water. This was rocking. This was a totally rocking issue. It didn't feel like filler. No. It didn't feel like this was a tacked on thing. This felt like it was a vital part of the storyline.
Yes, it did. Everything so far has, and I hope they keep that particular ball in that particular court, and just keep scoring awesome slam dunks. I want the All-Star game.
Are you going into Secrets?
Yeah.
Secret Avengers.
Well, we have a couple of more books this week that tie into the AVX thing that really don't have much. It's kind of like a little more backstory. What happened was, Captain America also has like he has the grunts. He has the front line, which are on the beach, and he also has the Space Patrol. In Secret Avengers 26, you'll see them. It's Beast, Thor, Vision, Miss Marvel, Valkyrie, War Machine, and Captain Britain.
Yep.
That was your segue.
Oh, thanks. So this was, in my opinion, this issue felt absolutely packed to the brim. You got a lot of crazy stuff going on in this. You got like crazy Beast having like nightmares about Dark Phoenix, like roasting everybody alive.
Yep.
You got some great characterization for Captain Britain. Basically, what Beast and Captain Britain are working on is a containment for the Phoenix, for when it comes through. So they're on this, spaceship waiting for it. Thor's getting drunk. I think he's fooling around with Valkyrie.
The piece of machinery is also powered by War Machine's armor.
Correct.
Right. Which is a big plot point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So Thor's bringing out Valkyrie, right? Getting drunk together. Captain Britain don't drink. So all this, you have this like whole first act of that, and then they go into this weird Kree thing, which is happening on the outskirts. Because like all the respective planets, the Phoenix is showing up. They all know the deal. Like there's something about to happen with the Shi'ar, like gladiators coming to Earth to like activate a death squad.
Right.
In Secret Avengers, you have this one group of Kree who are trying to resurrect Captain Marvel, their hero.
Yeah.
So you have that entire plot element, and you have some great stuff with just like.
Well, that was the fallout of basically them their ship getting so damaged when they tried to capture the Phoenix, because War Machine's going at it. He's saying like, I could do this. His armor burns out. Captain Britain takes the machine, and since he's magic based, the Beast is warning him, hey buddy, I didn't calibrate this machine to do this. Like, why don't you take a step back and we'll regroup and think about another option? And he's like, I could do this. And then like he gets blown away. Everybody gets blown away. The ship gets damaged. They have to land on Hala, and then the Beast, delivers an awesome speech to Captain Britain, saying like, look,
he's been so good. They're giving him good lines, man.
See, I feel like Beast is gonna bite it in this at some point.
It
would make no sense, but I always fear the Beast will die.
Yeah, I do too. Because
he's such an emphatic character.
And he's usually the voice of reason. I pretty much agreed with almost everything that Beast has said for the last like 10 years. He's very much the voice of reason for everything that he does.
Think about it. He is the scientist who just like, who doesn't care. He doesn't care, but he is the scientist who just wants to work on science.
He does, yeah. He wouldn't. Yeah. I think that's why another reason why I went with Wolverine is because he basically said like, "Yo, go your lab, go to work.
Yeah,
do your thing.
Let's take care of these kids."
Yeah.
So he tells Captain Britain like, "Look, you know why nobody picks you for the big team ups or nobody wants you on their side? It's because you end up being so selfish that you make yourself look like such a jackass and end up screwing things up in the end."
Which he does.
And it was like a hard moment for him. Another thing I kind of want to touch on is the fact that Renato Guides does not draw Cat Beast.
Nope. I noticed that also.
Right.
He, in certain panels, you see like he kind of went for the cat thing in this panel, but it's totally like old school, which is cool. Like, what? I'm not like someone who is condemning the way that they draw a Beast. Like, you want to go more? you want to go more cat? Because some people go like, we like cat.
I want cat. I want like
I know. No, I like
cat,
that. I like that too. I do. This was definitely old school. Like early like X Factor Beast. Like fully functioning fingers. Like we had what was it, the Morrison run? He was like a lion. He was a lion man.
Yeah.
Couldn't play guitar. He was not a regular human being. But you know what? I feel like they're eventually gonna slide back on the lion face.
You know what? I'm a big fan of the lion face.
I am too.
I like the if they bring him back with a regular face, I want him to have the big black bushy eyebrows, like when he first got turned into
like a psychopath.
Like and just like that big smile or whatever.
Yeah.
When he wasn't so much of a scientist but an adventurer.
Yes.
I like Scientist Cat Beast, man. It was a phenomenal issue of Secret Avengers, beautifully drawn, extremely well written, and you also see the Kree. Who we thought the Protector was going to end up being the new Captain Marvel, but they resurrect or create another like a body and give him the quantum bands
in the old school green costume too.
Right.
Which is always like odd to see.
Yeah, I mean, I like the old school green costume.
I think it's great.
But they give him like the quantum bands, and they're just like, hey, dude, you're going to be Captain Marvel. Protector's talking to Ms. Marvel on top of the Avengers jet,
and Protector is a Marvel boy. Originally created by Grant Morrison, but he's a Kree member from another dimension.
Right. But it's still kind of like the same.
Yeah, because
it's like a split universe.
And he's actually, as they revealed in like one of the other books, he's a double agent for the Supreme Intelligence.
Right.
For which is a double Supreme Intelligence, which was introduced in Hickman's FF run.
Right. See, I don't think he's a double agent for Supreme Intelligence. I just think it's like it's like the call of like the nationalistic call to arms.
Well, yeah,
you know?
the Phoenix is the biggest threat. It's like the legend in every culture and everything that it's the Destroyer. So like this is like. Yeah, this is like the conversation that Ms. Marvel and Protector are having, or it's about the duty that they have as like Kree.
And then the Captain Marvel shows up and is just like, we got to do this.
Kill the Avengers.
Yeah, so like, and I feel like this is gonna be the like maybe the crazier tie-in.
Yeah,
because you have like the cosmic stuff, and a lot of people kind of throw cosmic Marvel stuff.
This book is so nuts. Secret Avengers is such a crazy effing book. You have what it's gone through, like from when Brubaker started. It was like a really tight, expansion of like Marvel Universe stuff, and then it became Warren Ellis's like awesome one shots. Like every story is a standalone, awesome story. And then we've got this book. They've changed the team up, threw Venom on it, threw Captain Britain on it. It rocks.
Yeah.
And a book like you pick up this book, there's no elements of espionage at all in this particular story, but there's so much going on. Yeah. There's like this is major like Captain Marvel's coming back. Like this is a big thing.
Yeah. Well, you had like the beautiful thing about the Secret Avengers book when it first started, it was just that.
Yep.
It was the high octane espionage, like almost Captain America's version of X-Force. Yeah. Where like I'm using a bunch of weird dudes to do stuff that I know needs to get done. And it's a weird combination of people. It's a little bit of a departure from that right now, because it's not a secret that they're out there, but this is like the backup plan. This is the plan B for Captain America saying, or actually plan A, saying like, if we can stop this here, maybe we can stop it down below. And again, cannot stress this enough, Rick Remender, just buy everything this dude writes.
Yeah, he is incredible. He really is. Like he is found like a new voice in Marvel.
Absolutely,
he does such a good superhero story.
He does. I tell you, man, you gotta read up on that period.
I know. I have him. I can't believe I say it every week. Venom is always one of my favorite books when it comes out. Uncanny X-Force is a piece of masterwork. It is. It really, really is a great book. Like we said last week. Nightcrawler versus X-Men was incredible. Yep. The next storyline is about the brand new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which is going to be like Age of Apocalypse, Blob, Mystique, Sabretooth, a lot of cool characters. Always something surprising happens in that book.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going to have to start dealing with the fact that Wolverine doesn't have the time to really do this anymore.
Yeah.
So they're going to put some new team members in it.
Wolverine can't be in every Marvel book.
He can't. I don't think he's going to be on the Avengers after this.
No?
No. I think this is going to be a supreme divide because this whole thing came right out of Schism.
Schism, yes.
Schism.
Schism.
So there's got to be like, I think there's going to be, he's got Wolverine the X-Men book out there.
Yeah.
I think they're going to bring him again closer to the X-Men.
What an awesome setup too.
It is.
Like everything has been so top notch. You can tell that this is very well crafted, and I feel like they know where they're going, and they're keeping fans on their toes because you don't know how it's going to end, you don't know how it's going to play out, and for the people who really, for the fans who care and know the weight of what it means for like the Phoenix Force to come back, and the dead wife, dead girlfriend, Phoenix, Hope, like all this stuff. Like if you're an X-Men fan, it carries weight, and it's so fantastic that you're smashing it together with like a bunch of awesome Avengers stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's not just a self-contained X-Men story.
Well, also the benefit of this is that the way that they're writing Avengers X-Men is great. That they have all their architects, Hickman, Bendis, Fraction, Brubaker, all working together in parts. So you'll get great tie-in stuff with it, but you also have them kind of all working on the actual main crossover, which is rare. You just get like a Bendis or a Brubaker doing just the main crossover, but you have like I think the whole first part of this is Jason Aaron, I think. The whole beginning part of this, I can't say. What's up, dude?
What's up, Coke? How are you?
But yeah, it's very fluid and it all feels great.
Yeah.
Like, when I was flipping through my books this week and I was going through, I was kind of like almost like avoiding the crossover stuff because I was afraid of filler. And then after I read like the first two, I think I read Secret Avengers and I read the Versus book. I was like, this is awesome stuff. I want to read more.
Yeah, because it leaves generally the crossover books always leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Because a lot of it does feel like filler.
It feels like and especially because like we've been burned basically by Fear Itself. Like those crossover books weren't that great, and also you had something major like Flashpoint on the other end of the spectrum that also had all these tie-in books that were just pure nonsense.
Yeah,
You know.
that is true. They were nonsense.
So and like the last book that we have like with the tie-ins that we're going to talk about this week, which I really dug, and it's another side of the prism that we're looking at with Avengers versus X-Men, and this is where like, it's not just fists and fury happening, even though it will be fist and fury with what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You actually have like kind of cool stuff that's going into like you're writing more like a deeper mythos with certain characters. Iron Fist in New Avengers number 25, you find out that in a hidden text in the city of Kunlun that they prophesized the Phoenix Force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we haven't seen any of the New Avengers. It's beautiful art. It's like almost every book, every page is like a splash page from Deodato.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen any like Iron Fist Mythos stuff since like the Brubaker Fraction run, which is the first time anyone really touched on it and made something that was fun. We still have like the what are those dudes called? The
I know.
the Deadly Weapons.
Yeah.
The who were the other forces that are like the Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
But this is explaining that the what's that dude's name? The head of the Iron Fist, the guy with the cool mask.
Master UT.
Yeah, UT has been having these visions about a redheaded girl who embraces the Phoenix and has like a combination Iron Fist Phoenix symbol going on. And then he's preparing himself for his prophecy, and eventually a redheaded girl shows up who is Hope.
It's Hope on Earth, but he finds a redheaded girl in the city of Kunlun.
I think it's Hope,
and he's gonna train her.
I think this was.
You think that's like a trans-dimensional Hope?
No, I think at one point she was at the city and she trained. Yeah, I think she did a little time.
That she doesn't speak and she doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
and that may be like why she can harness the power in the regular Avengers.
Could be
book.
they're trying to make this Iron Fist storyline is covering a good chunk of the New Avengers storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna have a very strong tie. I mean, this is like creating taking that Phoenix mythos and tying it into a completely weird place like Iron Fist, which you'd never even think of tying it into. But it's again another touchstone of how important that Phoenix element is across the board, and also bringing those two worlds together. Like this is aside from anything of just these guys knocking each other out, it's creating a bigger world for the Avengers and the X-Men to play in afterwards.
So now I'm gonna pose this to you. You're saying that there's a possibility that this redhead who's in Kunlun could be Hope, right?
Well, the main reason I think this is the prime reason why I thought about this, because the next issue shows Iron Fist with Hope.
Right.
So that was my giveaway on that.
But do you think they're going to explain it in the fact that like at some point Cable somehow took her there while they were running away from Bishop and like in that awesome Cable I think Fraction did the Cable run, right?
Yeah.
So I mean like it kind of like it comes full circle a little bit, one of the Marvel architects. Or could this be kind of a different version of Hope?
It could be. It definitely could be. I mean, it could be a totally different redhead. It could be that prophesized weird, redhead thing.
Yep.
Could be Mystique for all we know.
I want her to be called Iron Hope.
Oh, Iron Hope.
That's about it. But like and they've really fleshed out Iron Fist in the past few years too, and it makes him like he's a character I always look forward to reading now.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe like before, New Avengers started. You could care less about Iron Fist because you're like, oh, he beat a dragon.
Well, no one knew what to do with him. He was just the guy who was, that hung out with Luke Cage that had like a cool costume.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's a karate character in a world of superheroes.
Do you miss the collar?
No, what I do miss? I miss Fraction's David Aja's version of the costume that he designed. He had like all the bindings and everything. It's like a really tight costume. I'm not crazy about the white costume.
Okay. I like the white costume.
I like green and gold, bro. That's just beautiful color.
Just go with it.
Yeah. But it's you know what? This is a character who I would never think that I would be that interested in, and now this guy has an entire story arc during one of arguably the biggest crossover that the Marvel Universe could put together, and he's the featured character, which is an incredible testament. This guy was not even an Avenger, 10 years ago. He was in Oblivion. He was in Limbo. So was Luke Cage, and this guy's carrying books now.
Bendis. And of course, on the cover, you notice that the Iron Fist symbol has been replaced by the the Phoenix symbol.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Very interesting little tidbits being thrown at us. Little visual cues here and there. And that about does this week for the Avengers X-Men stuff,
which is all really good stuff. Try it out, man. It's really easy to get into because almost every issue, without it feeling like filler, again, they do repeat story elements and really inform you, let you know what the hell's going on.
Absolutely,
and it's handled very well without it feeling like it's garbage.
All right, well, we got about 15 minutes left, right? All right, so let's jump into this real quick because it's kind of pertinent to the Avengers movie that's coming out next week.
Yeah.
Years ago, when the X-Men movie came out, you had the Grant Morrison run, which completely flipped their costumes. The people complained about why can't you have the regular costumes, blah blah. So Grant Morrison made them the sleek, like super team, like where.
What costumes are you talking about?
The black X-Men costumes.
Like the leather jackets that they wore in the first movie.
All leather, like no colors, just like leather, like jumper outfits.
That's what I like.
And Grant Morrison also changed it in the comic books, but like the way he did it, it wasn't such like he had a good explanation for it, and of course it was matching the movie because you want the solidarity between what you see on the screen and what you read on the page.
So arguable.
Yeah, I mean I
understand from it's a marketing thing.
It's a marketing thing. It's a complete marketing thing, and I also feel like this is a marketing thing. I feel like personally, Battle Scars #6. You had this miniseries basically introducing the Black Nick Fury that Sam Jackson plays, which is the ultimate Nick Fury in Ultimates,
right?
But and the Avengers movie is essentially an Ultimates movie, but labeled as the Avengers movie,
right?
So in regular Marvel continuity, you had to come up with a way to make this new Nick Fury.
Yeah, it's like if a kid wants to read an Avengers comic, and they have Nick Fury show up, they can look exactly like not the old man that we read,
right? The
old white guy, but Samuel Jackson,
right?
Good looking, whatever.
And kids won't have kids probably shouldn't or would have not have the capacity to read Ultimates, like that first run of Ultimates.
Yeah, it's too adult.
It's very adult, I would say after maybe 15.
So,
maybe,
I
was reading screwed up comics when I was a kid.
Yeah,
so,
but there's adult themes, and it's political, and it doesn't really. There's talking heads and stuff. You can point them somewhere else.
Yeah.
But this is all about the aesthetic. Is that we had Hawkeye's costume, which we always talk about. We're complaining about
every week.
Every week we talk about it. They changed it to match the version in the movie, kind of just overnight. They kind of didn't address it. Just it happened. This is like a slow burn to match that Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And the way we got here was we had a guy named Marcus Johnson. A black Army Ranger whose mother's murdered, didn't know his father. He has a buddy named Cheese, and there was a mystery of who his parentage was. So eventually, in the storyline, they get to the point where they reveal that this kid is Nick Fury's bastard son for the most part, that he hid away from the world, and he also
kept tabs on.
Exactly. And he also has the Infinity Formula pumping through him, which makes him a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and all this stuff. Ultimately, he gets his eye cut out, tortured, gets half his face burned off, shaves his head, becomes Agent Nick Fury, because his birth name was Nick Fury Jr., which we learned. And also his friend, Cheese, becomes Agent Coulson, who became very popular as the premier S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in the Marvel movies.
So it basically wraps up with this Ranger and his best friend getting new identities, which happen to match the Marvel movies.
Yes. So now you can read about Philly Cheese Coulson. Did you get that reference?
Yeah.
So Phil Cheese Coulson. And a black Nick Fury. Also, he gets Nick Fury Jr. gets Captain America's Secret Avengers costume.
See, that's the weird. That's what I feel is like the throwaway, and I did kind of.
They gotta use that costume. It's a good costume.
I love that costume, right? So they essentially Nick Fury, Nick Fury Jr. is in the hospital bed after this big fight. He loses his eye, gets burned, and everything. His dad, regular Nick Fury, World War II Nick Fury, shows up and he's like, "Hey, buddy, so after you catch some Z's, you can go back to life, or we can give you a new identity." And then the guy's like, blah, 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 you're my dad, stuff yourself. And he turns around and he goes, by the way, I was a Ranger too. And then it makes him choose the life of being Nick Fury.
Yeah.
So
immediately, if you're not even qualified for the job, head of intelligence.
And the last panel, it's not like, hey, dude, like we're gonna put you through some serious SHIELD training right now. The last panel is him walking into like a command deck, and they're addressing him as Director Johnson. Which means he's the de facto director of SHIELD. Nick Fury, Phil Coulson, Agents of SHIELD, and like they're saving the world, and like this guy's I guess he's in charge now.
I guess I took it more as him just being, he's going to be the super spy. And afterwards is an afterword. Yeah. Written by Cullen Bunn and the other guys who wrote the book, talking about how they want that like super spy element to be back in the Marvel universe through the name of Nick Fury. That's great. There was other ways to get this. This wasn't the greatest story in the world.
Right. No, it wasn't. I
very unusual way to get here.
I will defend my original theory when issue number 1 came out, was that Nick Fury's consciousness is trapped in this guy's body who's like the greatest LMD on Earth, and it's just Nick Fury in like a new body, and that's it. Not, hey, Nick Fury Jr., like, how does he know how to do the stuff that his dad knows? He doesn't. And then you have like, you leave that kind of
up in the air,
old soldiers never die thing, where's older Nick Fury's gonna be. And also he just put the mastermind to work in the 12.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's still working.
I
don't know, dude.
Which was also an excellent book. The 12 wrapped up this week with issue number 12.
Get the whole collection.
Everybody go check it out.
Amazing.
Yeah. We got time for, I think, one more. Moon Knight wrapped up. Do you want to do Moon Knight?
Oh yeah.
Moon Knight wrapped up this week. 12-issue run. That's it.
That's it. And what a run it was. It really did a great job of weighing the palette, of giving this guy some really great development.
Yep.
The fact that he's haunted by these different characters. They did great stuff with Captain Feria. Echo died. Avengers showed up. And also, we get the teasing of the Ultron War coming.
Yep.
Which will be the swan song of Bendis on the Avengers titles.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a fantastic wrap-up because you have like the big blowout with Count of Fire.
And Moon Knight kicks ass in this book.
He does, man. Like, he gets pushed to the limit, and he does it. Where do you place this in continuity?
Right in the middle.
I
think it's well, you know what it does? It feels like, how Daredevil used to feel,
right?
Where it's kind of like, it's in the Marvel universe, but it's kind of like in a bubble of time,
right?
Where eventually you'll hear something, a reference of this happen, maybe 8 months down the line.
Okay.
But it being Bendis, and it being Moon Knight being in a bunch of books for the most part, Secret Avengers, if he's still in that bucket, is he even on the team anymore?
See, that's the thing. That's where I feel like this is maybe before Secret Avengers, but at the same time, probably not, because of the team that shows up to save him.
Yeah, I think it's
issue.
Yeah, I think it's when the book opens up when he just got his Secret Avengers membership, so it couldn't have taken that long. I think this is like his first adventure and getting used to Avengers,
right?
And like having the Avengers hook up again.
But the A-Team shows up and, snaps him out of this bond. You have Cap, Thor, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Ms. Marvel, Cat Beast, and Iron Man, and the Protector showing up. Like, all the heavy hitters are just like, we got your back, dude. You ain't so bad.
And the dude's still rocking Captain America shield and Wolverine claws and web shooters and all types of crazy stuff.
And I really like the fact that they allude to Echo being another one of his personalities now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
possibly other Avengers as well.
Yeah.
That he's embracing more in his brain. And he just and like they did a great thing with like Buck Lime. He was a great character.
Yep.
And I think he'll be on the back Moon Knight will be on the back burner until this Age of Ultron kicks off.
I think so too.
This book rocked. This was really a lot of fun. It's a shame they can't afford it.
I think this is the perfect way for Moon Knight to be handled, because a monthly series has never worked out for him.
Never.
But like, if you do miniseries, if you do like a 12-issue series or like a 6-issue series here and there and make it good, it will be good.
Why can't we get a Marvel 2-in-1 anymore? Why can't we get like a book like Versus, where you have like 2 top-tier talents working on like a shorter style thing? Like, wouldn't it be great to get like a backup of Moon Knight by Maliv and Bennett's the back of like an Avengers book?
Absolutely.
And you get like 4 or 5 pages of that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that would justify my $5.
It would justify your $5, but at the same time, like, I feel like fandom, the way fandom works, like, I don't think it would be complaint. I think that would turn. It's so popular as a backup, it would turn into another series,
and it falls into that same trap,
and it would eventually flop.
Yeah, it always will
Yeah.
flop. Like it's just one of those things. Like Moon Knight never does well.
Tough character to write, man. Even when Hurwitz was doing it, and you know
It was tough.
he had like
He had some good moments in there too.
yeah, really good moments, and then it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And I feel like he may be the hardest hero to write in the Marvel canon that for some reason has always had his own book.
Well, what I hope out of this book that people do pick up on some of the really unique elements of it, like and play with that stuff, like you know the idea that he has the Avengers personalities running around his head.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff to play with. So like, if you know someone is pitching a new like Defenders book and they want to throw like a Moon Knight in there, he'll be a good choice.
Yeah.
You know, he's a character that I think functions very well on a team because of his unique personality.
Yeah.
Throw him on the Avengers team. Throw him on any team out there.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You got John Amon going on Defenders soon.
Yeah.
So let's play with these characters.
Defenders, another fantastic Marvel book.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That book is gonna. I think it's gonna take. It's not gonna do well. I don't think it's gonna be. It's gonna be long for this world.
It's extremely well written.
Yeah, and I think the last few we didn't talk about last week, but I think it's very well handled. And the last, what was it? Mitch
Brett Weiser.
Brett Weiser?
Yeah.
Amazing, beautiful art on that book.
Awesome stuff. I think we may be out of time. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This was our Mary Marvel episode. Go watch the Avengers next week and go read comics. Honorable mention to FF number 17 standalone issue of Peter Parker and the Human Torch being roommates. And apparently he drops Space Ecstasy in this and goes bananas. And Super Crooks by Mark Miller and Lionel Yu. Go pick that up as well.
Awesome book.
As always, I am Rich Stambolian. Thanks for tuning in.
And I am the shield that guards the realms of men.
John.